Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we are remembering the life and legacy of Greg Hildebrandt by looking at a hidden gem, Superman, the Last God of Krypton. One of the few times Greg and Tim Hildebrandt illustrated interiors. And it's a Superman story written by Walt Simonson. How freaking cool is that? Cannot wait to share it with you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. This is a one issue, one shot prestige format from 1999. I had to Google it. I wasn't sure about, we just lost Greg Hildebrandt, sadly, and his brother, apparently, Tim, passed away in 2006. So this was done 7 years before the death of his brother. One of the few times they did interiors. It's a one shot. It is stunning, as you can tell from the cover. Can you believe interiors painted not by Alex Ross, and they're completely amazing. I love the detail and definition on the cover. It looks absolutely beautiful. This is like the main villain. This is a scene from the book. I just had a conversation recently about the cover depicting an image from inside the book, and that is a classic comic trope that I absolutely love and am absolutely always down for. I love the little ship taking off into space, the last son of Krypton. So beautiful. Sithana is, I think that's how I'm going to pronounce her name. Since comic books never come with pronunciation keys for their other weird names. You know, I didn't know, obviously the most amazing image, most memorable image from Greg and Tim Hildebrandt is the Star Wars poster that is and forever will be their legacy. But for decades and decades, they produced tons of major, beautiful art for TSR, Dungeons and Dragons, fantasy, science fiction, superheroes, comic books, cards, just like such a staggering, impressive body of work and just beautiful images all over the place. Did I mention Walt Simonson wrote this? This is so good. Okay, Walter Simonson, writer, Greg and Tim Hildebrandt, artist, and Ken Lopez, letterer. It is so good. I love it. The first page tells me that we're getting the John Byrne version of Superman, basically. This is, you know, the Krypton that he designed, and the Lara and Jor-El, it was Superman as a baby and the little Matrix being sent off into space. Like, it was really cool just because I love Superman by Byrne so much. So it was really fun and cool to see the Hildebrandt brothers freaking painting the origin of Superman, John Byrne's version. I love that. I was like blown away immediately. It's so funny, painted comic books. I mean, my God, I can't even imagine how long this must have taken. They're such great, brilliant artists. I don't know a ton about them. Of course, I know their legacy, I know their art, but I would love to, you know, get more into like the history of their, like how they started working together, how they came to do the Star Wars poster, like what their process was. I mean, I stopped for a minute on this page, but this is a good page to stop on. Look how absolutely beautiful this goddess is. She's like this frozen last goddess of Krypton from eons ago. She discovers that there is a survivor of Krypton, and she ain't having that because she thought that they were all done wiped out, and she's going to make sure that they are. And she looks beautiful. I love the design. This is like pre-Disney's Frozen, and of course, so I couldn't help but think of that. It is so cool. Like, the weird thing about painted comics, the downside is, you know, a lot of painters use reference for their art to make it look realistic when they're painting. And sometimes you sacrifice sort of like fluidity and looseness in the layouts. Sometimes they're a little stiff and rigid. I didn't find too much of that here. One thing I did find noticeable is like some faces like really stick out, like that you can tell that they're completely based on real people. I mean, like, I don't know who some of them are, but obviously like that looks way too specific to not be a real person. Love the depiction of Jimmy and Lois here. Clark was killing me because he looks so handsome. He looks like he could almost be like a Tom of Finland drawing. And I'm like, who is he supposed to be based on? He looks like he's supposed to be based on. At first I was like, The lips, the chin, I'm not sure. Is this like kind of Sylvester Stallone-ish, but he's too good looking? And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's freaking Elvis. Tell me that this is not Elvis. I don't know if there's any record of them using Elvis as the model for Superman in here. They do reference, especially this character references to how handsome he is all the time. And I can't think of a more handsome role model for Elvis than, or for Superman than Elvis. Can you? I might be biased because we share a birthday. Me and Elvis, not me and Superman. But, you know. But, and then I was like, no, you're crazy. You're just thinking that. Now it's stuck in your head. And then I would turn the page and then certain panels would remind me of that. I mean, even if I didn't know better, that clearly is Joe Biden in this panel, which clearly it's not, but obviously he's been on the brain, if not in the White House. Anyway, I just love the art. It is completely beautiful. It just makes me think, my God, the amount of time that artists spend on this. I mean, tell me that that's not Elvis. This is definitely one of the panels that made me think it was Elvis, if not this whole page. I often say that I'm not a fan of Superman and Lois being married. I kind of like the cat and mouse, the silliness of like her not knowing his secret identity and all of that stuff. I like their breath commingling here because you can see it. I don't know. I like little touches like that. I mean, you're spending this absurd amount of time on a painting. You know, could you imagine how long it took to paint Lois's boot here? So I hope this was a huge hit for them. I'm not even sure what the comic book market was like in 1999. I don't think it was super strong. But see what I mean? Clearly that Lex is based on a real person. It's so interesting because here comes this villain, this Kryptonian goddess, who is, more powerful than Superman, and set here to destroy him. And obviously she can. And of course, Lex Luthor always has to get involved somehow. Wait, if somebody's going to be destroying Superman, I need to have a say in this, about how this is going to be done, and it should be me, and blah, blah, blah. So he's gonna side up with her. She's brutal. She's killed a couple of people, by the way, already, and just like, or maybe only one so far, but she just killed Lex Luthor's like guy there by taking over his mind and making him shoot someone in the head, which we're just missing like the brain flying off panel. I thought that was like so well done storytelling wise. Love that it's snowing in here too. Like there's just beautiful imagery all throughout Elvis. And then I don't know, certain things look kind of funny to me. Like we're in this Fortress of Solitude. Love the way that armor is painted there. But then this shot of like this planet over here just looks like kind of a painting to me. It is a painting, Michael. I don't know. Isn't that weird? And then you get this great backstory because this is Walt Simonson, Thor, Ragnarok. So of course he's going to tell the tales of the gods of Krypton. It was, what's her name again? Sithana versus Rao, the god of sun, and like she just wanted to create like these gods. And this cracked me up too because I felt this very much could be Greg Hildebrandt, right? That looks like him. I thought, who wouldn't want to be in their own comic? That looked kind of funny too. Kind of funny, this family struggling in horror, but that looked like a real person, if not an actor, and I can't put my finger on it. I feel like Ray Liotta or somebody, but not quite. I'm not sure. Anyway, this has turned into something very different, right? But anyway, the mythos and the story of Krypton, and I love how this is just sort of all in the Fortress of Solitude. It's like, by the way, Fortress of Solitude, maybe you should just tell me if there's anything else I need to know before some crazy god comes to attack me. And the sheer amount of work and beauty, like, it really stood out to me how amazing this painting is. The Lincoln Memorial covered in snow. Just, like, totally beautiful, right? And we don't deserve this. This is too good. Elvis again. This is so Elvis all over the place. Just really beautiful. It's funny because sometimes things that are painted, because they're painted, don't look as good as they do when they're in, like, pen and ink. Does that make sense? I don't know. How do you guys feel? Do you love painted comics? I mean, this is undeniably gorgeous. This is amazing. I was like, oh gosh, is this story going to be like totally throwaway or whatever? But it's so good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, that was super Elvis right there. Super Elvis. Oh my gosh. There's my bootleg comic book. Super Elvis. Elvis is Superman. Okay. Coming soon from MFT Productions. I've been looking for my bootleg. That might be it, y'all. So, of course, I love the look on Lex Luthor's face right here. And like I said, the dynamic between them is so interesting. Like, one day, because, I mean, Lex has, like, tirelessly tried to kill Superman over and over again, shamelessly, unabashedly. And then it just is so audacious and just, like, feels comfortable being in his presence. If I were Cal, I would burn his bald-ass head off to the nub with my heat vision and be done with it. But I guess that's why I'm not Superman. I love when they always try to plan a kiss on the hero, like an unwanted, and she's like, yuck, you taste mortal. Like, what an insult, right? Love the detail on his face there. Elvis again. That is a truly beautiful panel. And see what I mean? Like, sometimes you get, like, a certain stiffness, but I don't feel any of that here. The Hildebrandt brothers are remarkable. And this is, like, much later in their career, so I don't know. They just feel like at the top of their game. Like, everything just looks on point. The other thing that I find interesting, because, you know, just because you're a beautiful painter doesn't mean you're a good comic book storyteller. And, in this case, they just, like, it was so good. Like, it always felt right. The story flowed very well, and just, it's exactly what you would want from a comic book painted by Greg and Tim Hildebrandt. So I'm calling this a success. I wonder if people were as excited about it when it came out. In 2000, I'm like, how did I miss the boat on that? It seems like it would be fairly big news to have, you know, the Hildebrandt brothers painting interiors on a Superman comic. Holy, I wish this would have been Treasury format. If anything's begging for a larger size format, it's got to be something as beautiful as this. They had a long-ass fight in the heat here, and I don't know. It was just so good. It's so epic. And then she reveals her true form to be this demon. And, you know, never trust a beautiful, evil woman, because there's always something like this lurking behind that facade. Don't you think? If you've ever read a good versus evil story. Come on, Elvis. It's almost over. You're almost there. And here comes Lois to save the day in this robot suit. That's... Sometimes I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, is that to, like, you know, strengthen or solidify or show why Lois and Clark should be married? Like, I don't feel like he should have not been able to get out of it without her. Isn't that horrible to say? His fingers look a little weird there. I don't know. Anyway, it was so good, so enjoyable. I love this book. I'm so glad I got it. I can't believe I missed the boat on it the first time. Rest in peace, Greg Hildebrandt. Now joining your brother Tim. Your legacy will go on forever. Such a beautiful book. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I'll bring you more soon.